What's good, everybody? I'm Brandon. Bro, look, I gotta make this intro and the outro short because this video is already 15 minutes. So today I'm about to react to a video from Swag Kage. This one, Swag Kage. This one right here is titled How Strong Is Itachi. Y'all requested it, don't trip, you know I got y'all. Bro, it's getting dark right now, so I'm sure while I'm in the middle of reacting to this video, it might get dark. So, you know, it's gonna be a different effect, something that we rarely have. The sun is setting right now. It's beautiful out here right now. But anyway, I'm ready to hop into this video, man. We're going to see how strong your boy Itachi is. I know he's strong, but was he stronger than Sasuke and Naruto? I don't know. Who knows? Because when him and Sasuke fought, it was a good fight. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're gonna hop into this video. Let's go.
I've been making a bunch of videos recently examining the strength of various Naruto characters, and I figured it'd be fun to make a new video about somebody who's way more popular and also way more powerful than anyone I've spoken about so far. Today we're taking a look at Itachi Uchiha, and I know everybody knows he's supposed to be like really strong, but I think where everyone struggles to agree is on exactly how strong. I've spoken to some people who think Itachi could beat Madara, I've spoken to others who think he'd struggle to fight Jiraiya, and there are a whole bunch of opinions spread throughout it.
He ain't beating Madara.
I, of course, have my own opinion, and to back it up, we're going to be examining a variety of different sources, including the fights Itachi participates in, statements about him throughout the series, flashback scenes where he does anything noteworthy, and the two light novels covering the events of his life before he deserts the Leaf Village. I think I'm going to start with the light novels because I know a lot of you haven't read them, and they do give you quite a bit of insight into how talented Itachi is and the sort of crazy stuff he's been capable of even since his early childhood. I want to focus specifically on the first of the two books because you learn a lot more about what Itachi can do in it than you do in the second one. Not to say that you don't get to see Itachi in action in the Book of Midnight, but it covers Itachi's time in the Anbu and the assassination of the Uchiha clan, which we already sort of know about, whereas the Book of Daylight covers Itachi's early childhood. We get to see him enroll in the academy, start life as a genin, take the Chunin exams, and other things you may expect from a kid in the Naruto world. Now, for those of you who haven't read the light novels yet, prepare to have your fucking socks knocked off, because Itachi's no joke, even as a little kid. One example of some of the ridiculous things that he has done can be seen on page 28 when the Nine Tails is attacking Konoha. Itachi's with his mother Mikoto and his younger brother Sasuke, who was an infant at the time. Everybody's just sitting around all scared, not sure what to do because they're worried the Nine Tails is going to eat everyone, when all of a sudden a big chunk of debris falls out of the sky and threatens to crush Mikoto and Sasuke. Without a moment's hesitation, Itachi jumps into the air and breaks the debris apart with his bare fist. The way the book describes it, it sounds like he's amping his strength with chakra control, the same way that Sakura and Tsunade do. Obviously not to the same extent, but still, the fact that he's able to do this at all at 5 years old, before even enrolling in the Ninja Academy, is crazy. I find this particularly interesting because we don't really see a lot of people, especially not Genin, double especially not Academy students, and triple especially people who haven't even enrolled in the Academy yet, make use of the ability to use chakra to reinforce their strikes. Two of the only people we ever really see do it at all are Sakura and Tsunade, and you can argue that towards the end of the series, everyone is using chakra to make their attacks more powerful. But as it's described in the book, Itachi is doing specifically what Sakura and Tsunade do, and that's explained to require really precise chakra control. Now, I don't want to give him more credit than he deserves, so that might not be exactly what he's doing, and even if it is, it might not be nearly as impressive as I think it is, but I did want to mention it just because of how much it stuck out to me. Anyway, his Jonin mother is shocked to see this happen in front of her. In the exact words of the book, unable to conceal her surprise, his mother stared at Itachi with saucer-like eyes. His mother was a Jonin, which was precisely why she was amazed at his instantaneous action. I think the implication here is supposed to be that she's stunned by the fact that even though she was a Jonin, she wasn't able to do anything, whereas her 5-year-old son, who completely lacked ninja training, was able to deal with the situation without trouble at all. Now, to be fair, she had her back turned to the debris when it started falling towards her, but I think that's a much less severe handicap than being 5 years old and lacking ninja training. Moving on page 38, we learn that a 6-year-old Itachi, on his first day at the academy, blows everybody away with his performance in a training exercise held as a part of class that day. So the exercise has the students run around the schoolyard and see how quickly they can throw kunai at the 20 targets scattered throughout it. It takes most of the students about 5 minutes to do this, but Itachi pulls it off in 30 seconds. What makes that even better is Itachi got really mad at himself after completing the course because he thought he could have done way better. Like, as soon as the person scheduled to go after him begins the course, he takes another look at it and he goes, oh man, I could have shaved 5 seconds off of my time, I suck. And when he already clearly outperformed everybody else. The fact that he expected himself to do better is ridiculous, and it
so
also
Itachi
means
was the beast
probably could
from a
Even
kid.
his teacher,
You know what I
after
mean?
watching this happen, is so shocked that he initially forgets to call the name of the next student.
He's still
Apparently,
stuff
like this
continued
continued to happen during Itachi's enrollment at the academy, because on page 45 we learn that just 4 months after he began classes there, Itachi was given the graduation exam. Surprise, surprise, he passes it, and he's allowed to graduate the following year. Later in the book, after Itachi becomes a genin, during an encounter with Obito on page 81, we see him resist the effects of Obito's Genjutsu. Now, this is only important because with him were 2 members of the Guardian Shinobi 12, a Jonin, and 2 genin, one of whom was a Genjutsu specialist. The Guardian Shinobi 12, the Jonin, and one of the genin are all caught in this Genjutsu, and the only people who are able to resist its effects are Itachi and his Genjutsu specialist teammate. And for those of you who are prepared to say, oh man, that's not a surprise, Itachi's always been really good at Genjutsu, at this point in the book, it's not really implied that Itachi can use Genjutsu that well. As a matter of fact, when this fight happened, Itachi hadn't even awakened the Sharingan yet. It's actually the death of his teammate that happens during this fight that prompts Itachi's Sharingan to manifest for the first time. The only reason I'm clarifying is because that means an 8-year-old Itachi, without the aid of the Sharingan, was able to resist the effects of a Genjutsu that caught 2 of the Guardian Shinobi 12 and a Jonin. No matter how you slice it, I think that sounds pretty impressive, but maybe that's just me. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is, without question, the most ridiculous thing that he accomplishes in the entire book. So the book informs us that Itachi continues to do really, really well in missions and is basically backpacking his team, but despite that, his Jonin just keeps refusing to recommend him for the Chunin exams. The reason appears to be that he's confident in Itachi's abilities, but not in the abilities of his 2 teammates. So to circumvent this, Danzo, yes, as in the leader of Root and the Foundation, Danzo, personally requests that the then 9-year-old Itachi be allowed to take the Chunin exams by himself. Itachi's father, Fugaku, agrees with the suggestion, so Itachi goes on to ace the written exam. He actually gets the 2nd highest score of all time, next only to Minato's, before setting a record for the time taken to get to the tower in the center of the Forest of Death with both a Heaven and Earth scroll in his possession. Now, the interesting thing about this, of course, is that the previous record had been set by a team of 3 people, and all of Itachi's enemies in the Forest of Death were working as part of 3-man teams. Yet Itachi entered the Chunin exams by himself at 9 years old and still set this record anyway. As you'd expect, this of course means that he had to fight a team of 3 people, beat them, and take their scroll, which is exactly what he did. On his way to the tower, he gets jumped by a team of 3 Mist Ninja and deals with them absolutely no problem. Then after clearing the Forest of Death, Itachi performed so well in the first round of the Chunin tournament that he's allowed to skip the rest of the bracket and is immediately promoted to Chunin. It goes without saying that this is really dumb. Like, it sounds like I'm fucking making it up, but I promise you this is actually what happens in the book. Itachi's just ridiculous. And what makes this even better is the book says that only 5 months after his promotion to Chunin, due to his incredible performance during his time as a Chunin, he was then promoted again to a member of the Anbu Black Ops. Some other notable things that Itachi accomplishes before his debut in Part 1 include being handpicked for the extermination of the Uchiha clan, overpowering Orochimaru when the latter tries to steal his body, and basically toying with Deidara while recruiting him to join the Akatsuki. He does all of this during his early to mid-teens at the latest, since when he leaves the Leaf Village to join the Akatsuki, he's only 13 years old. Another thing worth mentioning is that both Orochimaru and Deidara were either shown or stated to be Kage level at some point. Orochimaru was a candidate to become the 4th Hokage and later went on to kill the 3rd Hokage, and Deidara successfully defeated and captured the 5th Kazekage Gaara. Of course, Deidara was probably way stronger when he fought Gaara than when he fought Itachi, but Orochimaru had been nominated to become Hokage long before he lost to Itachi. Now, I think that covers all of his off-screen background, so let's move on to the stuff that we actually get to see him do. The first major fight that he participates in is against a team of Kakashi, Kurenai, and Asuma, and it gives us a surface-level glimpse into his arsenal and the skill that he possesses in various areas of combat. We learned that he's at least a little proficient with Genjutsu, given how he completely resists the effects of the one that Kurenai tries to cast on him, and that he subsequently turns the tables on her and traps her in a Genjutsu instead. We also get to see him use a couple different ninjutsu, including a water-style jutsu that never receives a name, and a variant of the Shadow Clone Jutsu where the clone created by the user detonates on command. The most iconic scene from the fight, of course, is the debut of Tsukuyomi, a Genjutsu so powerful that despite the fact that it was first shown near the beginning of the series, it's still considered one of the strongest Genjutsu ever after the series conclusion. Now, all that said, the fight's pretty short, and it's hard to infer from it what Itachi's full power is, but considering his opponents, his performance and the apparent lack of effort on his part make it very clear that he's far beyond Jonin level. Itachi's next fight isn't really important at all, it's just him beating the shit out of Sasuke, but we do get our first glimpse at Amaterasu here. On Unfortunately, we don't learn anything about how it works, but we can see that it's enough to impress Jiraiya and that it eats through the insides of the toad that he summons. Something that gets brought up frequently is that Jiraiya allegedly forced both Itachi and Kisame to retreat here, but after taking one look at this manga page, it becomes clear that they didn't really have to go anywhere. Kisame is pretty confused as to why Itachi chose to leave, and furthermore, it's very likely that he just didn't want to engage Jiraiya because he was working undercover for the Leaf Village. The idea that base Jiraiya is too strong for both Itachi and Kisame to handle is a bit ridiculous too, especially considering some of the stuff we see them do later in Shippuden. Speaking of Shippuden, after this fight, we don't get to see Itachi in action until its first arc. To hold Team Kakashi at bay while the Akatsuki seals Shukaku inside of the Geto statue, Itachi challenges the members of Team 7 with a clone containing 30% of his chakra. Even though the clone is obviously substantially weaker than Itachi, it takes the combined forces of Naruto and Kakashi to land a clean hit on it. More importantly though, during this fight we learn that Itachi can trap people in Genjutsu simply with a point of his finger. He doesn't even need to establish eye contact. The last fight Itachi partakes in before his death is against Sasuke, and this is one of the most popular fights in the series. I'm pretty sure many of you have seen it a bunch of times, so I don't think I need to spend too much time going over it. But what's noteworthy about this fight is, as many of you know, Itachi was basically blind and was also near death due to his sickness, and according to Obito, he still could have easily killed Sasuke had he been trying his hardest. This is the same Sasuke who defeated Deidara without much trouble, at least not much trouble if we're not counting his suicide bomb at the end. So considering the gigantic strength disparity between Itachi and Deidara that this indicates, it means that he's obviously way beyond Kage level and paints him as one of the strongest members of the Akatsuki. During this fight, we also get to see him use the Susanoo for the first time, and we learn that his Susanoo possesses the Yada Mirror, which can reflect all forms of physical attacks, and the Totsuka Blade, which can indefinitely seal anything it pierces. Now, when Itachi is revived by Kabuto during the 4th Shinobi World War, that's when we actually get to see him put in some effort. It's brief because it only happens during the fight against Naruto and B, and then subsequently during the fight against Nagato, but it's still really cool that we get to see him cut loose for one.
I'm mad. Y'all tell me to react to that.
In this fight, or these fights, I'm not really sure if this counts as 1 or 2 since he changes teams. But anyway, what he does do is pretty major. At the beginning of the fight, he swaps hands with QB Cloak Naruto, which is a really big deal because right before this fight, we find out that this Naruto is faster than the Raikage. Of course, it's possible that Naruto wasn't moving at full speed when this happened. In fact, it's very likely. But keeping up at all with someone who was at that point one of the fastest characters in the series is definitely worthy of praise. Later in the fight, when he switches sides and helps Naruto and B fight against Nagato, he basically carries both of them. The two are seconds away from death when Itachi swoops in and saves them with his Susanoo, and he's the one who ends up dealing the finishing blow to Nagato by sealing him with the Totsuka Blade. Itachi's last fight is against Kabuto with Sasuke at his side, but it's difficult to gauge his strength from this because both he and Kabuto were holding back. Kabuto had to hold back because he didn't want to kill Sasuke, and Itachi had to hold back because he couldn't afford to kill or seal Kabuto, as that would leave no one to release the Edo Tensei. To be fair, of course, there's not much that Itachi could have done to beat Kabuto, but a single poke from the Totsuka Blade would have gotten him the win. And whether or not he actually could have touched Kabuto with the Totsuka Blade is arguable, but like I said, given the circumstances, it's difficult to tell. Still, even though both he and Kabuto were holding back, he managed to catch Kabuto with Izanami, allowing him to release the Edo Tensei and nearly end the war. So now that everything's on the table, it's time to answer the question posed in the title of the video. How strong do I think Itachi is? To be blunt, I think he's one of the strongest characters in the series, but that's not super precise, so let me be more clear. Itachi is one of the most skilled users of both ninjutsu and genjutsu, and he has incredible skill with taijutsu as seen in his brief clash with QB Naruto. His arsenal is made up of some of the most overpowered broken shit in the Naruto-verse, including exploding shadow clones, genjutsu that can be cast with the point of a finger, Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, the strongest fire-style jutsu of all time, and a Susanoo that wields an indestructible shield and a sword that can seal anything it touches. He has so many methods of dealing with potential threats that it's really unlikely that he'll ever find himself in a situation he can't get himself out of. But he's the definition of a glass cannon. His main weakness is his complete lack of stamina. So while he's easily able to deal with most of the opponents that might cross his path, if he's unable to do it quickly, he runs the risk of draining himself of chakra and tiring himself out. It's not a huge weakness though, since he's shown he's more than capable of taking opponents out quickly. Can he beat Madara, yes or no? And if we're talking about Edo Tensei Itachi, it's not even present in the first place. If I had to explain how strong I think he is by comparing him to other characters, I'd say he's the 3rd strongest member in the Akatsuki, and if he were to become Hokage, I think he'd be the 4th most powerful behind Naruto, of course, Hashirama, and Minato. I think he's weaker than Obito just because Kamui's broken, and he's definitely weaker than Nagato, and I mean, you could maybe argue that he might might be able to beat the 6 Paths of Pain in his prime. In my personal opinion, I think that the 6 Paths would overwhelm him because someone with low stamina like Itachi just isn't built to take someone like that on. But that's a can of worms I don't really feel like opening. I don't feel like going super into detail about the topic. But I did want to put my position out there. I definitely don't think he's anywhere close to as strong as Madara. He has an insane amount of versatility, and the Totsuka Blade Yonamura combination is very powerful, but Madara is a completely different beast, and maybe I'll make a video covering him at some point in the future. Speaking of that, if you guys want me to make this into a more recurring series where I discuss the strength of other characters, let me know in the comments because I had a lot of fun making this video.
Hey, thank y'all so much for requesting this video. This is a good video, man. Great job by the homie that made this video, Swag Kage. Let me know what y'all thought down in the comments. Bro, it's hella dark out here. It's completely dark. It's time to go. Yeah, I'm surprised y'all can still see me. I mean, I got this light on me, that's why, you know. Shout out Apple. But I'm gonna see y'all next time, man. Peace.